Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we exchange ideas, news, headlines, comments, and suggestions about how to have an awesome life here in Puerto Vallarta. As a community of English speaking locals, it is always a pleasure to get together with you. And look at all these comments about yesterday's members only broadcast. Thank you so much. We'll get to talk about that in a little while. Why am I so rosy today? Because I was messing around with the video controls. Maybe I shouldn't be quite so bright. There you go. It is great to see you, and it is great to join ideas and join questions with all the people that are with us on a regular basis. But also, if this happens to be your first time and you would like to let us know that you are new, that is easily done simply by adding the word new to your comment, and that way we'll give you a nice little welcome. And if you have any important questions that you wish to share with us or comments that you wish to share with us during the broadcast, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q to your comment, and we will be looking for it during our comment section at the end of the broadcast. Today we have our usual combination of news that are important, some news that are amusing, and we have a great interview. I had a great interview with Gina Hendrix of Whisky Kitchen on Saturday, and I can't wait to show it to you. We'll get to look at that in the latter part of the program. And of course, sometimes we get unhappy email, and we just woke up this morning to such a priceless unhappy email message that it defies. It really deserves the spotlight. So we are going to have a mini shit show because we can. But first, let us take a quick look at the news, and we will take it from there. For starters, please let me share a quick reminder with you that minors ages 14 to 17 can get their second Pfizer vaccine today from 9 to 5 at La Lija with the usual pre-registration requirements. There are 1,500 doses available, and these are available only for minors that received their first vaccine dose in February. We don't have any information at present time of other vaccination campaigns, but we recently reported that the state had received a large shipment of Pfizer vaccines, so I would imagine we're going to see other similar announcements in the coming days. Work on the Insurgente Street Bridge continues around the clock in order to be able to open it for circulation before Semana Santa, which begins in 18 days from today. I'm sure we'll see a number of headlines to this effect between now and then, and can only hope that instead of finishing the job quickly, they will finish the job well done. The beach at Rincón de Guayabitos was temporarily closed yesterday due to high tide and unusually high waves. I found this bit of news rather unusual, given the fact that, in my experience, the Guayabitos beach is one of the most user friendly beaches um, near Puerto Vallarta when it comes to getting in and out of the water and dealing with the waves. I hope it is a temporary measure, but just in case you find yourself in Rincon de Guayabitos and wanting to go swimming, kindly be mindful of the red flags along the beach. And any other time, if you're looking for a peaceful, easy to navigate beach where the water is mellow and you can like walk for meters and more meters and more meters and the water doesn't get above your neck, the beach at Rincon de Guayabitos is a beautiful place to enjoy the water. Sad news for me to share with you, rather. Two Mexican wolves born last year and raised in captivity at the Chapultepec Zoo in Mexico City have died, according to the Secretary of the Environment. The Mexican wolf, also known as the lobo, is a subspecies of the gray wolf that is native to southeastern Arizona and southern New Mexico in the United States and, of course, northern Mexico. But most importantly, it is an endangered species that 50 years ago was commonly hunted or poisoned, leading to near extinction during the 1970s. Authorities are still investigating the reason behind their death, and early reports seem to indicate that acute renal failure had something to do with it. The dead animals, along with their living parents and three other siblings that are alive, of course, have been transported to a veterinarian hospital for testing. It is worth mentioning that the Chapultepec Zoo is committed to helping preserve this species, and 8 cubs have been born there in captivity as part of the zoo's protection program. How wonderful is that? And of course, how sad to hear about the death of the animals. Last bit of news before we move on to the weather. The Vallarta Cultural Institute has announced registration for a variety of workshops at the 4 cultural centers located within the municipality of Puerto Vallarta. Regretfully, the article is not formatted in an easy way to follow. It's all paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, but there is a little bit of everything from musical instruments to painting and sewing and theater and piñata making and so forth. The article does suggest you visit the pages for the 4 cultural centers in the city or in the municipality for more information, but they are only mentioned by name. Of course, since we are committed to making solid connections with and for you, we did a bit of homework this morning, and we will share the Facebook page for each one of these 4 cultural centers in the show notes for you to explore and enjoy. If you happen to find a course that you want to engage in, that will be the place to look for it. Now, let's turn over to the weather. Somehow Tom Brady returned. Yes, I sent my future ex-husband back to work, I should say. It is 26 degrees right now. Feels like 27. Humidity is at 49%. That's a lovely low. And of course, our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 79. Our weather forecast for today, we are going to enjoy a clear day with a high temperature of 30 and a low temperature of 18. Tomorrow, Tuesday, another clear day with a high temperature of 31, a low temperature of 18. And Wednesday, another clear day with a high temperature of 30 and a low temperature of 17. That is a lovely way to start the week. That said, I know you didn't ask for this, but what can I tell you? Sometimes we just have to do what we have to do. That's right. It's time for the shit show. I have to say, we received a colorful email message this morning from a viewer that I believe requires some clarifying, and I'm going to show it to you right now because we want to take this sentence by sentence. The context: on Friday, somebody did not follow the rules here at Coffee and Headlines for a number of times, and Friday we decided this person probably would be better off looking for news and headlines and community in another place. And this is what we received. This starts with, so I can't believe you did this, but you blocked someone based on a comment you read 10 minutes after it was made. Really? Well, yes, really. In fact, I did not read the comment 10 minutes after the fact. I read the comment when it first showed up. And had I had the possibility to do so, I would not have waited 10 minutes to block the person out of Coffee and Headlines. I would have done it on the spot. But of course, the software doesn't allow for that possibility. And quite frankly, I'm more committed and concerned about the well-being of the big majority rather than the small minority. This continues with, maybe you should have asked him in person what he meant by that before you got all pissy about it and did what you did. Let's unpack this for a second. I try to picture myself writing an email message. Dear offensive person, can you give me your address so that I can go visit you in person and find out what you meant when you insulted me? I'm sorry, I don't think that's the way it's going to go, because the time and effort that it would take to do that is time and effort wasted on giving the community a better experience. So no, we don't do house calls to find out why people don't like the broadcast or my decisions. We simply don't have the workforce for that. Then this continues. We have to endure all of your gay comments, but he makes a funny and you block him because you thought he was making an inappropriate comment. Well, endure? You know, I did think at some point that I would need a staff to go to each and every one of your homes to tie you up to a chair in front of your screen so that you had no choice but to watch Coffee and Headlines. But guess what? We don't have the staff. And the big news is that we don't make you do anything. We don't make you endure anything. If you don't like the content, don't watch. There's a lot of content online for everyone. So we don't make anybody endure anybody. Yes, it was because I thought it was an inappropriate comment. I know it was an inappropriate comment because it was directed at me. And then this continues. Shame on you. Well, that's easy to solve. We are happy to please. We're happy to please. Here we go. Shame on you. I said shame on you. There you go. And then the message ends with, know the facts before you go into pissy ass queen mode. This is a double whammy, so we have to break it in half. Know the facts before you know the facts. Well, know the facts is easy because as far as Coffee and Headlines is concerned, I make the facts. And the facts are contained in our frequently asked questions document, which we announce every single broadcast. So I know the facts, and it would seem to me that the one who doesn't know the facts is not me. And then the second half of that is before I go into pissy ass queen mode. Pissy ass queen mode. Well, maybe I should say, if you think I go into pissy ass queen mode, maybe I should say it takes one to know one. And finally, you say bye. Well, I have good news for you, Dwayne. But that's right. I have to show you my reply before we go into that, because this is what I wrote back. Actually, Dwayne, we don't make you endure anything you choose to watch or you choose not to watch. I control the content of my broadcast. If you don't like my policies or you don't like what is offered here, kindly go look for whatever you need elsewhere. And if you cannot understand the difference between laughing with someone and laughing at someone, definitely do not bother to come back here. I'm sure you will find other communities better suited for your needs and standards. Best wishes with that. And that is how that transpired. The good news is that Dwayne is not blocked from the broadcast, because Dwayne at least had the courtesy to throw shit at me in private, which I very much appreciate. But if you mean bye, Dwayne, by all means, feel free to throw, and if you're watching, feel free to throw your best shot at me live here, right now, on the broadcast, and you don't even get the 3 chances everybody else gets. You will be removed from the broadcast on the spot. So again, please feel free to give us your best shot. Yesterday, we enjoyed a fun members-only live townhouse in which we invited several members of the cluster to come online with me and be my guest, and we had a blast getting to know them. We also announced the date of our very first meet and greet at the new Whisky Kitchen, and we will get into that in a second. But more importantly, we want to thank once again Michael Boufford for his generosity. He offered a 500 peso gift certificate for any of his restaurants and in town, and we want to congratulate once again John Laurence for being the winner. I understand that John will be visiting Puerto Vallarta later on this year, so if you are watching, John, kindly send me a message so I can connect you with Michael and we can make sure that you enjoy your gift certificate when you are in town. Next, before we dive into our Whisky Kitchen show around an interview with the wonderful Gina Hendrix, I want to touch base on the 1980 masterpiece comedy 9 to 5, featuring Jane Fonda, Dolly Parton, and Lily Tomlin. The 40-year-old cult classic is a must if you want a good laugh and if you want to learn a few one-line punches along the way, and then throw them at me here at Coffee and Headlines. Sure, why not? I can still hear my late mother laughing nonstop every time we watch the film, and the film reaches the scene with a toilet cleaning lady saying, "There's another stiff in the joint," and my mom would just burst out laughing. Well, apparently there is a documentary on the film titled Still Working 9 to 5, and it is being premiered this week. And if you love this film as much as I do, I'm sure it will be fun watching. I will be sharing the documentary's website for all of us to be able to find out where to watch it and how to enjoy it. And now, let us dive without further, no, I was about to say that crazy phrase. Let us dive into this. Okay, it's time for our walk around for Whisky Kitchen, and here she is. Hey, Gina.
Hi.
It's great to see you.
And Harry.
And Harry. Hello, Harry. Yes, yes, yes. So it's looking great.
Day by day.
Do you want to show us around? Okay.
Okay, so the idea is it's another open air project because that's huge these days for everybody.
So that's going to remain open at night, or?
It will close at 7, this particular curtain, because we're part of this whole ferreteria area, but that's why I created the terraza, because that is open all the time.
That is beautiful. I'm sure we're going to get a look too.
Super fun. We made all these tables, all these bars are my design, and I had friends that really helped me to create them. I was very specific about parota.
This is parota, and then it's all
Galvanized siding.
galvanized siding.
Super Nashville Southern style.
I love it.
Yes, and I was able to spend a little bit more money here. All the tables haven't arrived, and I'm still in the process of all kinds of things. But I'm really happy with how it feels and looks, and I'm super excited.
And you built an office space on top.
Yes,
This is.
I've never had an office here in Mexico, so I finally have an office.
You have an office. You have a little window.
Yeah, a window. And Harry.
And Harry, that is supervising everything. And then look at this. It's a huge. This is a sit-down bar.
Sit-down bar. So there'll be bar stools all along here. Jim Beam is actually helping me, and they are going to give us some product for our parties, which we're going to talk about with you.
Oh, fantastic. You mean Jim Beam as in this Jim Beam?
Yep. So we're working on a logo here.
And
they are sponsoring me as a chef for Mexico as well.
Oh my goodness.
So that'll be fun.
You're fabulous.
That'll be fun.
And look at this huge kitchen. It is
Yes,
enormous.
So compared to, the other location, which is staying open, by the way, because we love it.
Hola.
We have, it's Luisa.
Hola, Luisa.
We have a lot more room here, and I believe we have a lot more room for growth.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And then you have a patio.
Yes.
Let's go have a look. I love all the light fixtures that you've installed. I'm sure they're going to... Oh, quick pause. If you see right outside on the patio, on the left side, that's where the stage or performance area is going to be. We make reference to it later on in the interview, so I just wanted to put A and B together. So just as you exit to the outside area, on the left side, that's where the performers are going to be. Boom.
Made them.
Great at night. You made these?
Made them because we saw online they were like, I don't know, 4,000 pesos, 5,000. Like, we have a little budget, so I had a lot of friends that helped me to create all of these things.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, super fun.
And check out this space back here.
Yeah, so right now I don't have it loaded with tables. I wanted more of a comfortable space because what I've seen in Versailles, and this is your area. What I've seen here is that it's a real neighborhood. Like I can go from here and I can get to-go bags and I can get vegetables that I need and I can you met my t-shirt guys.
Yeah.
Like I can get all those things very quickly and easily, and it's a real community.
This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you think we can sit down for a little while and have a conversation?
Yes.
Okay, let me get my other camera ready.
Okay.
This is the end of our little walk around, but we'll come back.
Small but mighty.
Yeah, in a second. We'll be
Small but
back.
mighty.
Yay! I have been wanting for this moment to happen, and I mean the interview, but I also have been just itching to see this project open. How is it going?
On my side, it's great. I'm worried about the CFE. I'm having a few issues. I had to rewire the whole place, but I'm super excited about the project. So we're really far along. If I got the CFE approval tomorrow, I could open and be ready to go. I'm ready. I'm just waiting on the electricity.
For those people that don't know, CFE is the company that gives us electricity here in the city. But before we dive in, take me back to Mexico City, because this is what I know, because based on what you told me.
Okay.
You have or had a restaurant in Condesa in Mexico City, and somehow you came to Puerto Vallarta, you hooked up with the right people, and boom, Whisky Kitchen happened.
Yes.
Tell me, fill in some blanks for me.
So it's a little crazy, but I always sort of do things a little different than most people. But I still have the restaurant in Mexico City. It's still in La Condesa. It's still open. I have an amazing manager there named Sandra who runs it, and a partner named Alan who helps over there as well. And it's still doing super well, and I'm very excited. It's more, there's no liquor license. So it's more of a fried chicken place. It's more sort of ready for replication almost. Lower end and all of that. But during COVID in Mexico City, so one, I didn't love Mexico City. I appreciate it, and it's an amazing city, but it wasn't my place.
It's not for everyone, yeah.
Yeah. 26 million people, I think.
Give
It's
and take.
not a big city girl. So I really worked hard there during COVID. It was tremendously stressful because in the States, if you close a restaurant, you have support of the government to help with the employees. Here, there was no way I was closing because they don't eat. So never closed a day during COVID, kept it open, worked really closely with the team to make sure, but at the end of it, I think we all may have changed some of our ideas about what we want to do and where we want to be, and mine was I don't want to be in Mexico City anymore. So then I was like, I will post on some groups throughout Mexico with beaches. I'm a beach person.
Okay.
And see if anybody answers and says they have a space, because a lot of people struggled during COVID with their business models. And my business model was solid. I kept it open and I knew I could do that. So I said, okay, I have this concept. Does anybody have a space? And through Trisha's site, everything you have and want and need to know about
Puerto Vallarta, yeah.
Brian and Roger answered.
Brian and Roger, who also own
161 and Anonimo.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, had you been to Puerto Vallarta before?
3 times. I had a wine business that didn't make it through COVID for a lot of reasons. And I went to Vidanta and sold wine to them. I went to some of the other upscale places to sell my wine imports and that kind of thing. But I'd never spent time in Old Town. Like, I didn't know. I think I went to like the the fancy French restaurant. What's it called?
Lay something.
Yeah, that one. Like I went there and it was beautiful and fancy, but I'd been there only 3 times. And I liked it because there was an ocean. Anywhere there's an ocean, I was like, yeah, let's do that. Old Town, for me, when I came back and I actually spent a little bit of time, people were so nice. My struggle in Mexico City, I do speak Spanish. It's not amazing.
It's very good. I've heard
I call
it.
it Spanglish.
You give good Spanish.
Right? I really try, and it matters.
She gives
to me.
good Spanish.
It matters. But Mexico City, they just never really embraced me for whatever reason. You know, it wasn't for lack of me trying, or I just never found community. But when I got here, it was immediate. People were open, and they got me. I think they sort of understood what I was trying to do, and I also who I was, even, like, you know, on a basic level. I think it was like a very open, lovely. Everybody I met was really kind, and feedback. You know, I'm always open to feedback, and I try and I don't know. I just felt a part of the community in 2 weeks. It was amazing.
And that's how Whisky Kitchen came about.
Yeah.
And you know, we could talk about your success with Whisky Kitchen for hours, but it's how did you do it? I mean, how did you become? See, there are so many restaurants in town that open and they just don't get it. I mean, I'm not asking you to tell us all your secrets, but how is it that you've clicked so well?
I don't know, but I'm super grateful. I don't know, maybe that's it. Maybe because I'm grateful for every little thing that comes my way. Maybe that's the secret. I treat my people well. Like my credo, I follow a lot of Danny Meyer philosophy, and my actual, not focus, but I make sure that my team is taken care of first, and then they take care of everything else that comes after that. So they know they're valued. My pay rate's probably a little more than other people. I try and keep their hours to a decent amount of hours, and I think from that, they get it, and then even if I'm not in the building, they also take care of people like I take care of people. I mean, maybe that's part of it.
Well, I think another important part of it is just the type of cuisine that you chose to focus on, which is all the Southern comfort food, which brings me to my next question. Where did it come from?
So, I grew up in South Carolina.
Okay.
I lived 20 plus years in Nashville. The recipe of fried chicken is my grandmother's, and her macaroni and cheese, that's my grandmother's. Corley, you'll see her on the menu, and she's gonna hang here. I'm working on her portrait right now. Her food and how I grew up, and also Southern hospitality. But see, there's this thing about Mexicans and Southerners. They do the same. They feed people, they love on people, and they welcome people. And there's this weird, really beautiful collaboration of cultures between the South and Mexico. We're actually trying to think of a hashtag that expresses that. Like if your people want to come up with something that we, for our hashtag, it's about unifying Mexico and Southern comfort food and Southerners and all of that, like hospitality, pure hospitality is so Mexican to me.
And just to clarify, when Gina says your people, she means the cluster, because I know that Gina has been very grateful of the fact that we've been talking about the restaurant and we've been sending you some friends.
Yes.
Let's fast forward. How did this particular space come about?
So this is super funny. So the first friend that I made in Puerto Vallarta was my t-shirt friend, Abraham, who's a designer and he does all these amazing things. I texted 5 t-shirt companies, 1 person answered. My t-shirts were ready on time and I went to pick them up and I was like super stressed and I was running around and he was like, hey, you're in Puerto Vallarta. You need to take a breath. You need to calm down. You're in a different place. You need to understand who we are, right? And it was sort of this, who is this person? But he was my first friend that I made here. And so from there, one day I was walking here because we had somebody break in Whisky Kitchen, and behind me is the ferreteria where they have the spice. So we were walking through here, and this place was for rent. And I was like, this could be the next location. There are no accidents, I think. There are no accidents. So he introduced me to the family, who's a very old Puerto Vallarta family here. And they've been awesome to work with. Like, I'm borrowing their electricity to do the construction.
Wow.
That kind of thing.
Now, you told me at some point, we had a conversation about the fact that the other place remains open. It remains under the name of the owners. What is it, Brian and
Roger? They're a minority partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is you.
This is me. They are not part of that, but I have another investor here.
Okay.
Right? Who's awesome. Another silent investor. And he's super excited. He's a restaurateur from the U.S. And he lives part of the year in Puerto Vallarta and part of the year there. And he came in as a guest. And he was like, how did you end up here? What are you doing here? I really like the way you work. Let's try and see if we can find something that we could do together. So over the process, I was looking for a new location, and this one came about, and the puzzle pieces fell into place quickly. I always say my superpower is persistence, but I think I've learned that sometimes persistence is, sometimes you kind of need to go, that road's not the right road. This one makes more sense.
Wow.
Right.
At some point you mentioned that you would have a stage or a space for live music. Is that still going to happen? Over there.
Over there.
Coolness.
And we have a church here, so we want to be really respectful. So I think I'll probably do exactly the same style of music because it's Nashville style, more acoustic, not bands here. But I believe I will have the ability to do bands and events. And also in 6 months, I have the ability to grow this way based on how they're organizing this land that they own as a family. But that's for the future. Let me get this thing open and running well and people happy and having a good time, and then we'll see.
I love the fact that you've sourced a lot of things either from local businesses or from nearby businesses, such as these beautiful menu covers. Tell me about this. Actually, first
You want to see it? Yeah.
Ta-da! Here's the menu cover.
Yay!
It is beautiful.
It's awesome. So the ferreteria right behind us.
The hardware store,
They have a
yeah.
laser. They have a laser printer that can do all of this, and then the designer came from my designer friends right down the street at La Playeras Vallarta.
The t-shirt place, yes.
And we've done all kinds of little things that I had time to do this go round that I didn't have time to do there.
That is wonderful.
And we'll be updating there once we get this place open. So you'll see little sweet improvements over there as well.
Okay, now you've hit on the important thing, the opening date.
Oh wow.
Do we know it yet?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God. First time hearing this.
But this is as long as CFE and we get everything organized and the government's happy with me and I'm happy with all the things.
Fingers
so
crossed.
my birthday is April Fool's Day. So that is the real sort of event, fiesta, grand opening here. It will be April Fool's Day, which is my birthday.
Which is April. What's the date?
April 1st.
April 1st. I'm Mexican. We don't have April Fool's Day. We
That's
have the
right.
other,
You have the other
we
one.
have Dia de los Inocentes
You have
on
the
December
other one.
28th. Okay, so if all goes well,
Friday.
Cluster Friends,
It's on a Friday.
Friday, April 1st. Oh my God! Pictures and more pictures.
It'll be fun.
Of sangria.
And I'm super excited because I didn't do a grand opening over there either.
Uh-huh.
So this will be fun. But we want to do an event with just your people as well.
Oh, we'll talk about that when we're done with the interview. But
And we
I'm
did.
just super excited for you and with you. It's been a pleasure to enjoy your cuisine and for me to know that I can see this thing. I can see
Oh, you can see
from my balcony. Yes.
Oh, I knew you were close, but I
it
didn't
is
know you were that close.
literally around the corner. Like they'll have to roll me back home.
Okay.
I am so super excited.
Stumbling distance. Hashtag stumbling distance.
Stumbling distance. I love it. Well, there you have it, Cluster Friends. There you have it, Coffee and Headlines. Whisky Kitchen is finally coming to our side of town. I am
And I
super
love
psyched.
Versailles. I love Versailles. I love Versailles.
more and more people are loving Versalles,
Yes.
but that's okay. Menu-wise, are there any new things we can look forward to?
We are opening exactly with the same menu because I have people training over there to come here. But we will be morphing and adding and taking away things as we progress.
Anything that I've forgotten to bring up?
No, I'm just super. I appreciate every single person that supports us, and especially you. Every single person.
Well, it's been
amazing.
It's been a pleasure, Gina. It is so great to be here, and we finally did this. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yes.
So let's say goodbye to the camera, and let's talk a little bit about maybe doing something special for Coffee and Headlines.
Yes.
Yay! Goodbye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
And we did. Isn't she adorable? I tell you, I was so smitten when I first met her. And then when I walk into the interview on Saturday and she starts talking about the CFE, and then she starts talking about the hardware store, but she refers to it as the ferreteria. I mean, talk about someone who has known how is to insert herself within the fabric of the community. I am totally smitten and I can't wait. So we know that their official opening is on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. Like, I remember those things. But we have, let me get comfortable. We have our very own meet and greet for Coffee and Headlines before the official opening date. And the date for our meet and greet for Coffee and Headlines cluster members is, drum roll, March 23rd. It's a Wednesday and it is from 5 to 7 p.m. This will be our chance to enjoy some hors d'oeuvres and some cocktails. Gina said, do you want to do it for charity? I said, no. Gina said, well, do we do things for free? I said, no. You know, we want you to prosper. And if you want to offer some freebies, by all means. If you want to offer reduced prices, by all means. But we want to make sure that you are successful because we love what you do. I did receive a very important question that I want to share. Oh dear, and I'm messing it up. Let's see. I do not want to appear cheap, but are spouses allowed to come with members to the Whisky Kitchen thing on March 23rd? Of course, spouses are allowed. You see, we are not only about making connections for ourselves, but we are also all about making sure that connections are made with local businesses that we love and trust. So bring your spouse, bring whoever you want. I am sure that Gina, being a restaurant pro, will know how to handle things. We may either do a public Facebook event just to get an idea of a count of how many people are going to go, or maybe we'll do a poll a few days before the event. And also, a couple of people have already volunteered to help out. And as I mentioned privately, you know, this is Gina's show more than our show, but I am sure that Gina would appreciate additional help. But it's entirely her call. I was just so thrilled to have the opportunity to sit down with her and see this project come through. And it's just down the street. So I'm very, very excited. And before time continues to fly by, let us take a quick look at some of your comments and suggestions. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I certainly did, and I was just itching to share it with you. Good mornings abound today, as usual, and we appreciate that very much. Amazing members only last night, says Gary. Thank you very much, Gary. I had a blast. Albert says the members only show yesterday was great. Thanks, Paco, and the brave interviewees. For those of you that are not members or didn't have a chance to watch, we invited some of you cluster members to come live with me and tell us about your lives, and it was really fun to get to know a handful of people, and we hope we will do this again at future members only broadcasts. Dan watched it this morning. So if you were not able to watch last night, if you go to the same link as we shared for the invitation, you should be able to watch it if you want. Let's see what else we have. Raymond, your presence at this meet and greet is absolutely indispensable. I'm going to send personalized invites to you, to Michael Boufford. I'm going to send personalized invites to Carmen and Claudia, formerly of El Arrayan and now of Oculto. These are wonderful food people in our town, and I'm sure everybody would love to meet them as well. Karen enjoyed the members only last night. Thank you very much, Karen. So did I. It was very nurturing. Ronald says, good show yesterday. Sorry you're not getting rich off of us, but we do appreciate your work. Who knows what the future will bring? Please know, Ronald, that bills need to get paid, of course, and we appreciate the subscriptions and all that stuff, but you enrich my life in ways that you cannot even begin to imagine. Thank you very much. Let's see what else. Great experience yesterday, says Scott Weber. Not bad for a Sunday. Let's see what else. Here's a question. After subscribing, could not access the program yesterday. Will it be available again? I just need for it to be easy. I had a terrible time with no success. Help. Susie, if you give me a little bit more information privately, maybe I'll be able to help. We are hoping to continue doing members only broadcasts at least once a month, and a couple of other cluster members have generously offered to provide us with freebies that we can give away, and we will continue to do that as well. Let's see what else. Oh, thank you very much for that, Rod. And thank you very much for that, Rita. It was not scary, but when you invite people to come live with you, there are so many factors that could go wrong, like your microphone or their microphone, or your camera or their camera, or the feedback. And yesterday, everything just flew and flowed so nicely. I was just so very happy. Let's see. Lots of love for yesterday's meeting. Thank you very much. Was it recorded so those of us that couldn't join can enjoy it as well? Once you become a member through Coffee and Headlines, you have access to all the content. It's not that much, but all the invitations to private things that are published on Coffee and Headlines for members only. So all you have to do is become a member, and you can go back and see everything that has been published for members only. Let's see what else. Oh, Paula says, I feel privileged to be your first cluster member live. That's right. Paula was the first person we interviewed yesterday. We got to find out a little bit more about her life. We asked her and everybody else, how can we make Coffee and Headlines even more nurturing for you? And everybody offered the most supportive suggestions. And that's what we do. That's what we do. Yes, we were talking earlier about how we make the rules. We figure out how this place runs. But for those of you that have invested yourselves through a subscription, this is as much a show for you. It's a show for everyone. But I'm particularly grateful to those of you who have chosen to become ambassadors of the broadcast and supporters. Let's see. Are you shooting in 4K or with a wider lens? There is more of your background visible. Looks great and clear. You see, I can do this, Scott. I can do all the way out there. I can do scary. I can control this. And sometimes, you know what it is? I clean my apartment for my weekend guests, so everything looks clean. Even though it's out of focus, I don't feel so self-conscious. And that's why everything is a little wider. We don't broadcast on 4K because that would include the need of a lot of bandwidth, and that would make it difficult for everybody to watch. Bring on the parrot. I almost did. Ronald never saw the shit show before. Well, we hope not to show the shit show very frequently. Let's see what else. Josh says, I love you. Well, I love you back. Dan comments, Kathy and I really appreciate how you keep Coffee and Headlines a safe, kind place. We will continue to do that. Raymond asks, endure, and I ask the same thing. No, his name is not Richard. I showed the name in my reply. I think his name was Dwayne, maybe something. Let's see. Rita says, more gay comments, please. LGBTTIQ and so on. Use all the letters. Well, I have to learn some of those letters first, Rita, but we aim to offer the content that seems to make you feel good and content that you enjoy, and we're going to continue doing that. Let's see what else we have. No, I cannot quote that. Mark says, on Saturday, you talked about an insult comedian in town. I work with Don Rickles, who arguably started it all, and every day he would roast crew members. It's interesting to me that in the right atmosphere, insults can be very funny, even when you're the target. What do you think? I think you're right, Mark. I think you're right. If I go and see a comedy show, I will expect that at some point you will become the target of the insult. And in certain occasions, like when Bianca Del Rio was in town, this amazing insult drag queen, I would have been honored if she had insulted me. But not here, not at Coffee and Headlines. This is not a place for us to be throwing mud pies at one another. We get snarky, we make jokes, and we laugh together. We don't laugh at each other, and we don't make jokes at each other's expense. Anybody that does that, as it's clearly explained in the show notes, gets the boot. Let's see what else. Lorraine says, now I have that song in my head. I wonder if you have Shame on You or 925. Either song is very, very catchy. Good question. Is there parking available near the new Whisky Kitchen? Well, I can tell you the whole block behind Whisky Kitchen is street parking, and there's often a lot of parking spots available. The only time where I see it a little dicey is on Sundays because there's a next door church. But there's parking in the vicinity, and it's my neighborhood, so I can tell you your car will be safe as long as you keep it locked. Let's see what else. There was a great anecdote that somebody shared, and I want to read it again. And of course, I saw that Gina joined us. If you're still here, Gina, I'm so excited. I really am. Let's see what else. We're almost there. Here's what I wanted to share for those of you that are just listening and not watching. Thank you, Gina, for having such a wonderful atmosphere. We ate in your place in Old Town last night, and the oddest thing happened. My radiator hose blew right in front of your restaurant, and the guys were so helpful in making it possible for me to get my car to the mechanic last night. I want to thank you and your staff for a wonderful meal last night, and I couldn't believe it. There you go. That's great to hear. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Bill. Let's see what else. Mijal says, we are stumbling distance, and I know that Mijal is because she lives just one block that way. So we're going to stumble in and out together. And I promise you, Christy, we will be stumbling very carefully. No more shoulder injuries for me. Bart says, I missed the member live broadcast. How can I watch the rerun? If you are a subscribing member, Bart, just log onto Coffee and Headlines, the website, with your credentials. And because you are a subscriber, you should be able to access to the subscriber-only posts where you will find the address for the broadcast that we had yesterday. Let's see what else. Oh, Paco, your latent heterosexuality is showing. Not to worry, it happens to the best of us. Yes, I have my moments. What can I say? What is the address, says Ronald? Well, I'm going to leave the in the bookmarks, I will leave the Facebook page for the new location of Whisky Kitchen Versalles, and you will be able to see the address right there. I know it's right around the corner, but the actual street address is listed on the brand new Facebook page. Oh, good. Bill will be in town on the 23rd also. That means you have an invitation to join us, Bill. Hopefully you will be there. And Gina kindly answered the question about who is the t-shirt provider. We showed it on the interview, but they're called Playeras Vallarta. And I'm so very happy that we're going to have the punster maestro in person. Raymond, your only requirement will be to pun away at leisure. How about a membership level that would include a spouse? Interesting suggestion. I hadn't thought about that, Dory, but I'll definitely think about it. Thank you very much for suggesting that. Let's see. Oh, Joe, it was so nice that you allowed us to interview you and your wife. I had the pleasure of meeting Joe and his wife in person at the Rice event. And of course, you remember Joe because Joe and Lorraine had been broadcasting from had been watching from Switzerland before they moved to Puerto Vallarta. So it used to feel really fancy to know that somebody was watching from live all the way from Switzerland. But it was such a great time that you came on board as an interviewee. It was great to meet your dog, Billy. He's a star. So it was a lot of fun. Let's see what else. Steve, new member here. Thank you for a great show. And there's a question. Is there an agency I can hire to help with my paperwork for permanent residency? Each Mexican consulate appears to require different info. What a mess. Oh, I empathize with you, Steve. And I know there are people that do this kind of service. And I don't know who they are because I'm Mexican, so I don't have to deal with this. But I see that Mijal is going to send you a direct message, and that makes me very happy. So if you have problems with this, Steve, and if you're getting different information, all I can say is you're not alone. It happens to all of us. And when I say all of us, I mean Mexican nationals as well. But hopefully, Mijal will show you someone or will connect you with someone that can help you out. Let's see. Jonathan went to Boys on Fire last night, ran a little late for me. It was past my bedtime. I hope they're still showing my handy video work during the broadcast. If you enjoyed a video during the broadcast while they were changing of the boys frolicking on the beach, that was created by yours truly. They are good friends, and it's a pleasure to support them. And this pretty much brings us to the end of today's broadcast, which of course went longer than anticipated. But I thank you for staying with us and for enjoying the content. Again, this is not a place for all of us to have the same opinion. We welcome different opinions. We welcome differences of opinions, but we welcome them with respect. It enriches our community, and that's what it should be about. Have a great week. Have a great beginning of a week, and we'll see you again tomorrow.